The sky above Silvers was violet, with two soft suns floating like lanterns in the clouds. Commander Jace Morgan stepped out of his landing pod and looked around. The alien planet was quiet, but the silence was not empty. It was full of a strange energy, like something ancient was watching him. Behind him, his crew scanned the area. This was Earth's first contact mission with the Tlure Empire, a race known for their strong psychic powers. Peace talks had failed before, but this time, the humans were sending someone different, someone calm, respectful, and open. That someone was Jace. A Tlure guide waited for them near a line of glowing stones. The alien bowed. "Welcome, human travelers. The princess waits for you." Jace nodded. "Thank you. We're honored to be here." The guide led them through shining fields of bluegrass. Strange floating creatures passed by like butterflies. The Tlure city in the distance looked like it was grown from crystals, not built. Everything was peaceful, but Jace could feel eyes watching from the shadows. Inside the crystal palace, he met her. Princess Linyara stood near the edge of a balcony, her white gown flowing like smoke. Her long silver hair shimmered in the sun. Her eyes were closed, but not from sleep. She was blind. Her soft voice spoke before he even said a word. "You are Commander Jace Morgan," she said. Jace paused. "Yes, Your Highness." She smiled faintly. "Your voice carries truth. I see that, even if I cannot see you." Jace was confused. "How do you know?" "I see through emotion," she replied. "Tlure eyes are limited, but the heart feels all." He nodded slowly. "Then you can probably feel I'm nervous." She tilted her head. "Yes, but not dangerous. That is rare for a human." They spoke for a while about their worlds. She asked questions, not as a ruler, but as someone truly curious. Jace found her presence calming. She was kind, but strong, soft, but proud. Suddenly, the calm broke. An old alien man stormed into the room. "Linyara, you cannot speak to him alone. He is not one of us." Jace stepped back, but Linyara raised a hand. "I see what you do not, Counselor Vorth. This human, he is my chosen one." The room froze. Even the air went silent. Jace blinked. "Wait, what does that mean?" Linyara turned to him. Her face was serious now. "In our law, when danger rises and the throne is under threat, the royal blood may choose a bondmate for protection. That bondmate becomes part of the royal family, and I choose you." "What?" Jace said, stunned. The counselor shouted, "This is madness. He is not Tlure." She answered calmly, "But he is brave, and his emotions speak louder than blood." Jace pulled her aside. "Why me? We just met. You feel safe to me," she whispered. "And danger is near. I was warned in a dream someone in this palace will try to remove me. If I bond with a human, no one will dare." Jace looked into her pale eyes. They didn't move, but they felt full of light. "And this bond, does it mean marriage?" "No," she said. "Not unless chosen later. It is an emotional connection, a shared trust. We link minds, not bodies. It is sacred, and it gives protection under old law." Jace thought hard. This was not in the mission plan. But if he refused, she might be in real danger, and something in him wanted to help her. He nodded. "All right, I'll help. What do I need to do?" She smiled. "Then let the trials begin." 3 hours later, Jace stood in a glowing chamber below the palace. He was surrounded by floating orbs of light. Linyara's voice echoed from the shadows. "First trial, show your true heart. The orb will scan your emotions. Only truth will open the door." He stepped forward. The orb glowed red, then yellow, then green. A door opened. Second trial. She said, "Step into the dream pool. Face your fear." Jace entered a shallow pool. His body froze. Suddenly, he was standing in space, alone. Earth exploded in front of him. He heard screams, saw people he loved vanish. Then he heard her voice. "It is not real. Let go." He took a breath. "It's fear. That's all. I choose to move forward." The vision vanished. The pool faded. "Final trial," she said. "Defend me." A creature made of dark smoke appeared before him. It rushed at Linyara. Jace leapt forward, raised his arm, and shouted, "No." The smoke broke apart. It was a test, not real. But his action was. Linyara stepped into the chamber. You passed. He breathed out. Barely. You acted without fear. She said softly, even blind, I felt it. She walked closer. The bond will not hurt. I will place my hand on your chest. You will feel a warm light. And then we will be linked. He nodded. Go ahead. She placed her hand gently. A golden light spread from her fingers to his heart. He felt something deep open inside him. A memory, a peace, a silent promise. When the light faded, she smiled. Now, no one may harm me. Not while you live. Jace stared at her. This is going to change everything, she whispered. It already has. Outside the chamber, whispers spread. The alien princess had bonded with a human. The galaxy was about to watch history unfold. And deep in the shadows, someone was not happy. The next morning, the city of Selverus was full of whispers. The news had spread faster than light. Princess Linyara, the blind heir of the Tlure Empire, had chosen a human as her bondmate. Many Tlure nobles were not pleased. In long robes and tall headpieces, they gathered inside the council dome. Crystals along the walls glowed with anger. This cannot stand. One noble shouted, a human. What does he know of our ways? Councillor Vorth, the oldest member, spoke with a heavy voice. The bond is real. The princess followed ancient law. We cannot undo it. But she was forced surely, another cried. No, Vorth said. She chose with full will, and the bond was accepted by the ancestors. All heads turned as Princess Linyara entered, walking beside Commander Jace Morgan. Her steps were calm, but strong. Her white eyes showed no fear. Jace stood straight, trying to hide his nervousness. He wore his Earth uniform, clean and sharp. Linyara raised her hand. Enough. The law has been followed. Jace is my bondmate, A younger noble stepped forward. Then let him prove it. Let him take the ritual of 3 bonds. Gasps filled the chamber. The ritual of 3 bonds was an old tradition, mostly forgotten. Few passed it, even fewer from outside Tlure blood. Jace looked at Linyara. What's the ritual? It is the path of unity, she answered. 3 tasks that test trust, truth, and connection. If you pass, no one can challenge the bond again. He nodded. Then let's do it. That evening, in the moon garden, the first test began. Glowing trees surrounded them. Floating lanterns moved in the air. The first bond was called the Heart Sync. Linyara stood across from Jace. You must open your mind to me. Let your emotions show. If you lie or hide, the bond will weaken. Jace took a deep breath. He closed his eyes. His thoughts drifted to Earth, his childhood, his family, the wars he'd seen. He thought of his fears, his hopes, his loneliness. In space, Linyara reached out. Her fingers touched his forehead. I see sorrow, loss, and still hope. You are true. A soft chime rang. The first bond was complete. Linyara smiled gently. One done. To remain. The second test was more dangerous. It was called the Mind Mirror. In a quiet chamber of silver mirrors, Jace was asked to sit inside. A circle. Linyara stood outside, guiding the ritual with soft words. Each mirror will show a part of your soul, she said. You must face them all. If you run, the mirror cracks sand, so does the bond. One by one, the mirrors lit up. The first showed Jace during the war, shouting orders while ships burned. He had lost friends. He had made hard choices. He stared, silent. I did what I had to do, he whispered. The second showed his face alone, older, drifting through space, forgotten. He closed his eyes. I fear this future, but I will not let it control me. The third showed Linyara's face, scared, hurt, alone in the dark. He saw her past, her pain. I will protect her, he said. The mirrors went dark. The second bond was complete. Outside, nobles watched in silence. Even the doubters began to grow quiet. That night, before the third test, Linyara and Jace sat together under a tree that glowed like moonlight. You did well, she said. I just told the truth, he replied. She touched the bark. Many here think you are not worthy, but I felt your courage in the bond. He looked at her. Why me, Linyara? There were others, Tlure, who know your world. She smiled. Because you are not from here, you see things differently, and because, when I touched your heart, I felt peace. They sat in silence for a moment. Then she said softly, tomorrow is the final test. It is the most important. What is it? It's called the stand. You must stand between me and danger without knowing what the danger is. You must trust your heart. He nodded. I will. The next day, the council gathered again, this time at the Hall of Trials. The walls glowed red with the light of dawn. Linyar stood at the center, her eyes closed, her head held high. Jace stood beside her. He waited, silent. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded. A door burst open. A shadowy figure rushed toward the princess, holding a glowing blade. The crowd gasped. Without thinking, Jace moved. He stepped in front of Linyara and raised his arm. I won't let you touch her. The figure stopped. The blade vanished. It was an illusion, but Jace's action had been real. Linyara opened her eyes slowly. You passed. The council remained silent. No one spoke against him now. Later that evening, the bonding chamber was open once more. Jace and Linyara stood inside. With light all around them, the High Elder of the Tlure spoke in a deep voice. 3 bonds have been tested: trust, truth, protection. The human has passed them all. The bond is accepted. Linyara reached out and took Jace's hand. The room filled with warm energy. Light from the crystals danced across the walls. Jace felt something deep inside shift. It wasn't just a connection, it was something bigger. He was no longer just a visitor. He was part of something ancient, something sacred. From that moment, they were partners. Not by blood. Not by war, but by bond. And in the shadows of Selvaris, others watched, some in fear, some in anger. Because this bond would change more than a throne. It would change the future of 2 worlds. The days after the bonding ceremony felt quiet on the surface, but something dark moved beneath the peace in the great crystal palace of Selvaris. Princess Linyara continued her royal duties. She sat in meetings, spoke to her people, and guided her planet with calm words and a strong heart. Commander Jace Morgan stayed close by. He had become more than just a bondmate. He was now her protector, her partner, and her voice among humans. Many on Selvaris still looked at him with doubt, but none could challenge him, not after the 3 trials. Yet Jace could feel something was wrong. At night, he saw shadows near the palace walls. In the day, he noticed servants whispering. Even the air around the throne room felt heavier than before. One evening, as they sat in the quiet star garden, Jace turned to Linyara. Something's happening, he said. Something we don't see. Linyara nodded. I feel it too. The bond helps me sense your thoughts and the danger around us. The silence is not peace. It is waiting. Jace looked up at the twin moons. Who would want to stop us? She answered softly, those who fear change. That night, the danger came closer. Jace woke to a strange sound, soft footsteps outside his chamber. He moved quickly and silently. Pulling on his suit, the lights were low. He crept to the door and opened it just enough to look out. A tall figure in dark robes moved down the hallway. It was heading toward Linyara's room. Jace didn't wait. He ran. The guard outside her door lay unconscious. The figure stepped inside, and Jace followed. Fast and silent. Inside, Linyara stood still in the center of the room. Her eyes were closed, but she was calm. I know who you are, she said. The figure froze. You come in silence, but your mind screams. I can hear your fear. The figure raised a small device. You should not have bonded with him, it said, its voice low and angry. You have broken the old ways. Jace stepped forward. She chose freely. That's the new way. The figure turned, startled. Jace rushed forward and knocked the device from its hand. They struggled briefly, but Jace's training gave him the edge. He forced the intruder to the ground. Palace guards arrived seconds later and arrested the would-be attacker. Linyara turned toward Jace. Thank you. Jace helped her sit down. Are you all right? Yes, but this proves the truth, she said. Someone powerful is behind this. That was no simple attacker. The next day, the council met in secret. Jace stood beside Linyara as she spoke. There is a traitor among us, she said. Someone sent an assassin into my chamber. Counselor Vorth stood. We will find them, Princess. But Linyara shook her head. We already know. I felt his thoughts. I saw his memory. Gasps filled the chamber. It is my cousin, Prince Rahl. She said. Prince Rahl was her closest family member. Many thought he would be the next ruler if Linyara chose not to take the throne. He was popular, charming, and powerful. But behind his smile, he held bitterness. He believes I am weak because I am blind, she continued. And now he believes I am unfit because I chose a human. He fears unity. Jace looked around the room. Some nodded, but others still looked unsure. He stepped forward. I don't know your politics. I don't know your history. But I know. Someone tried to hurt the princess. I was there. I stopped it. And I will stop it again if I have to. His words were simple but strong. Linyara placed her hand on his arm. He speaks with honor, and I trust him with my life. That evening, Linyara and Jace hid in the whispering forest. Far from the palace, trees here glowed with soft light, and the leaves made soft music when touched by wind. It was a place of safety, used by the royal family in times of crisis. Around a small fire, Jace asked, What happens now? We wait, she said. Prince Rahl will move quickly now. He knows we've named him. Should we tell Earth? Jace asked. No, Linyara said. If humans come with force, it will make things worse. This is our fight for now. Jace looked into the fire. You're braver than most people I know. She turned her head toward him. Even without eyes, I've seen many things. But you're new to me. Your mind is sharp, but your heart is kind. That is rare. Jace smiled slightly. You always know what I'm feeling. She touched his hand. The bond lets me feel your emotions, but I also listen. That's how peace begins, with listening. They sat quietly for a while, the forest singing around them. Even in danger, there was peace between them. Back at the palace, Prince Rahl stood in the shadows of the high tower. His eyes glowed faintly with power. They think they can stop me, he said, but the throne belongs to me, his advisor. Bode, the people are still divided, but if the princess vanishes, many will follow you. Rahl's voice grew cold. Then it's time. We will strike at the bonding ritual itself. Let them see weakness. Let the galaxy know humans cannot rule beside us. He looked into the night sky. The stars will burn before I give up the crown. Far from the palace, Jace and Linyara prepared for the final stage. Linyara spoke softly. We must return. The full bonding must be completed in the Chamber of Ancients. Only then will the Empire accept us completely. Jace nodded. I'm ready, she smiled, and I'm not alone anymore. As they stood, the forest whispered louder as if warning them. The path ahead was dangerous, but they would walk it together, no longer just to beings from different worlds, but to hearts united in purpose. The journey back to the palace was quiet but tense. Princess Linyara and Commander Jace Morgan moved carefully through the whispering forest. Above them, the sky had turned deep purple. Strange glowing birds flew across the trees, singing soft songs that only the Tlure could understand. Jace walked beside Linyara, watching every step. His hand rested near his belt where his communicator was clipped, but he didn't use it. There was no need for alerts if trouble came. He would feel it in the air or in Linyara's emotions through their bond. You're calm, he said. Quietly, yes, she replied, because we are walking toward truth. He looked at her. You really believe that, even now? She nodded. Truth is not always safe, but it is always strong. They reached the edge of the palace grounds. By nightfall, the guards were surprised but didn't stop them. News of the attack and the betrayal had shaken the Empire, and many were beginning to wonder if Linyara's choice of human bondmate was not madness, but wisdom. The next day, a message arrived from Earth. A silver sphere floated into the throne room and opened in midair. A voice spoke. This is President. Hail of the Human Federation. We have received news of the royal bond. We request a diplomatic meeting with Princess Linyara and Commander Jace Morgan. We wish to understand this connection and decide how to move forward. The Tlure Council watched quietly as Linyara stepped forward. I accept the request, she said. Send your ship. You will be received in peace. After the message ended, Counselor Vorth turned to her. This meeting could bring either unity or war, Linyara answered calmly. Then let us give them a reason to choose peace. Within 2 days, a sleek Earth ship landed on Selvrus. Its white wings reflected the twin suns. President Hale arrived with a team of diplomats. She was tall, gray-haired, and serious, but her eyes softened when she saw Linyara. You must be Princess Linyara. Hale said, double quotes, yes. And this is my bondmate, Commander Jace Morgan. Hale gave Jace a long look. You've made history. Jace smiled lightly. I'm just trying to keep up. The meeting took place in the Star Dome, a large round chamber made of transparent crystal. The stars above could be seen clearly. Both humans and Tlare sat at the long table. Linyara stood and spoke first. Our worlds have watched each other from a distance. Some feared, some hoped. Today, I offer something new, a bridge between us. Not through war, not through trade, but through trust. President Hale nodded. And this bond, what does it mean for both our people? Jay stepped forward. It means we protect each other. We listen. We fight beside each other. Not against. We face the stars together. There was silence. Then President Hale smiled. Let's walk this bridge, carefully, but together. That night, Linyara and Jace sat under the stars again. The garden was peaceful, but their minds were busy. You handled the meeting well, Jace said. You gave them something I could not, she replied. Your human heart. He looked at her, thoughtful. I'm starting to see what this bond really is. It's not just about emotion. It's about seeing each other's world. Clearly, she nodded, and choosing to believe in it. Suddenly, a glowing symbol lit up on her wrist. It was the call of the ancients, a sign that the final bonding ceremony was ready. It's time, she said. The next morning, the palace was filled with light and music. The final ritual would take place in the Chamber of Ancients, deep within the heart of Selvrus. The chamber was built from living crystal. In the center stood a tall archway, shaped like two hands joined together. All bondings were completed here under the eyes of the ancestors' giant glowing forms that floated above, watching silently. Linyara and Jay stood beneath the arch. Both wore ceremonial robes, hers soft white, his deep blue with silver patterns that shimmered with every breath. The High Elder stepped forward. Today we witness the final bond. Once complete, it cannot be broken. The human and the royal shall share mind, spirit, and destiny. Jace looked at Linyara. Are you ready? She smiled. I was ready the moment I felt your soul. They joined hands. A soft light began to rise from the floor, wrapping around them. The elder continued. Open your hearts. Show your truest selves. Linyara reached out with her thoughts. Jace felt her memories, her childhood, the day she lost her sight, her loneliness. He sent her his own, his first command, his losses, his search for meaning. Their bond grew brighter. The chamber filled with golden light. The ancestors above glowed in approval. Then everything shook. A loud explosion cracked the sky. A wall of the palace shattered. Guards rushed into the chamber. We're under attack. Outside, Prince Rahl stood on a floating platform with a fleet of warships behind him. Stop the bonding, he shouted. She has betrayed our blood. Missiles rained down. Fighters flew across the sky. Chaos erupted. Back in the chamber, Linyara gripped Jace's hand. We must finish the bond, she said. It's not safe. The elder shouted. No, Jace said. It's the only way to protect the people. If they see us united, they will know who truly leads. They stepped forward. Light exploded from the arch. A wave of energy spread across the city. The full bond was complete. Suddenly, the palace defense systems activated. Linyara, connected to the heart of the planet through the bond, gave the order. Protect Selvrus. Do not harm the prince, but stop his attack. The skies turned blue again. The ships shut down. Prince Rahl's forces were caught in a net of energy. His fleet was disarmed. He screamed in rage, but it was over. Later, the city stood quiet. People gathered to see the bonded pair standing at the top of the palace steps. Linyara's voice rang out. We are not enemies. We are not strangers. We are something new. Today, we choose a future where human and Tlare stand side by side. Jace raised his voice. We didn't win with weapons. We won with trust. And the people cheered. Too. Worlds, once far apart, had taken their first step together, but far beyond Selvrus. In the dark corners of space, others had heard of the bond, and not all of them were pleased. Days passed after the final bonding. The people of Selvrus slowly returned to their lives. The broken walls of the palace were rebuilt. Songs of unity spread across the city. Some called it a new age, the age of the bond, but peace never stays. Quiet for long. Above the skies of Selvrus, in the far corners of the galaxy, strange ships gathered. They came from the Drakari Syndicate, a cruel alliance of warlords who hated both humans and the Tlare. They believed strength came only through conquest, and they saw the new human-Tlare bond as a threat to their rule. They are becoming too close. One Drakari leader hissed, "If others follow this path, our power will fall." Another growled, "Then we break the bond by breaking their world." The Drakari warships turned towards Selvrus, back on the planet. Jace stood at the palace gates, watching the stars above. His heart was calm, but his mind was alert. "Something's coming," he said softly. Linyara walked beside him. Though blind, she could sense changes in the air and the energy of the sky. Her voice was quiet. "Yes, I feel the storm." Later that night, their fears came true. An alarm echoed through the capital. Blue lights flashed across the sky. The royal guards rushed to battle stations. A young officer ran into the throne room. "Princess, Commander, a large fleet is entering orbit. They are not Tlare, and not human." Jace's face turned serious. "Drakari." Linyara nodded. "Then we must stand together." The council gathered quickly. Some members were afraid. Some wanted to hide. But Linyara rose to speak. "Our bond was not made for comfort. It was made for courage. The enemy hopes to break us apart. Let us show them what unity looks like." Jace added, "Earth has sent a small support team. But the fight is ours. We must defend Selvrus with what we have." Tlare generals looked at each other. Then slowly, they nodded. The sky above Selvrus turned black as Drakari ships began their attack. Red fire rained down. Defense towers lit up the darkness. The people ran to shelters while the palace activated its protective shield. Inside the command center, Jace worked beside the Tlare captains. He had learned their battle systems during his stay. His human mind, trained in fast tactics, helped fill the gaps. "Position shield drones here," he pointed. "Draw their ships toward the canyon. We'll trap them." Linyara stood beside him, her mind linked to the planetary core. As a royal, she had control over ancient energy systems. "The sky crystals are ready," she said. "They can fire once the Drakari are in range." Jace gave the signal. "Then let's light the sky." The battle was long and fierce. The Drakari launched waves of fighters. Jace flew one himself, leading a mixed squad of humans and Tlare pilots. Linyara, though blind, stayed connected through the bond, guiding him with her psychic senses. "Enemy on your left," she said in his mind. Jace turned just in time and fired. The enemy ship exploded in flames. Through the bond, they fought as one. Back on the ground, Prince Ra watched from a tower. His heart burned with envy. He had lost his chance at the crown. But now, he saw another way to take it back by pretending to be a hero. He sent his private guards into the battlefield, not to help but to slow down Jace's reinforcements. "This war will break them," he said, "and when it ends, I will rise." But he had forgotten the bond's strength. Hours later, Jace returned to the palace, wounded but alive. His ship was damaged, his arm bleeding from a crash, yet his eyes were clear. "They're regrouping for one last strike," he said. Linyara moved to him and gently touched his shoulder. A soft light glowed from her hand, easing his pain. "We are not finished," she said. She turned to the council. "Activate the star pulse." The council gasped. "That weapon hasn't been used into 100 years. It will not kill," Linyara said. "But it will blind their ships just as I learned to see without eyes. They will learn fear in the dark." The star pulse was a wave of psychic energy that disrupted enemy systems. Linyara and Jace walked to the hard platform, where the bond could be used to power the weapon. Together, they joined hands. Their bond glowed like fire. Their memories, thoughts, and love flowed between them. Then Linyara spoke. "Let the stars hear our voice." The star pulse burst across the sky dot in space. The Drakari ships went dark. Their weapons froze. Their systems failed. The fleet panicked. Earth's support ships moved in fast and surrounded them. The Drakari surrendered. The battle was over. The city cheered. Bells rang from towers. People danced in the streets. For the first time in memory, Silvers had fought with humans and won. Jace and Linyara stood at the edge of the palace, looking down at their people. "We did it," Jace said, smiling. She turned to him. "No, we did it." The bond between them had not only saved the city, it had lit a fire across the galaxy. In the coming weeks, more planets would send messages of peace. Talks of a new alliance human and T-single quotes Lori Dash began. But not all was safe. Prince Ral had vanished. After the battle, and somewhere in the galaxy, darker forces watched and waited. But for now, peace had a name, and its name was trust. The stars above Silvers sparkled like never before. The war was over, and peace had returned. The palace had been repaired. The people of the Tlare Empire and the visiting humans walked side by side in the streets, where there was once silence and fear. Now there was music and light. In the heart of the palace, Princess Linyara stood on the royal balcony. Her long silver hair flowed gently in the wind. She wore the crown of unity, a glowing symbol of both her leadership and her bond with humanity. Jace stood beside her, dressed in a dark uniform marked with both Earth's seal and the Tlare crest. He looked out at the city, proud but thoughtful. "It's peaceful," Jace said, "almost too peaceful." Linyara turned her head toward him. "You feel the same as me?" "Yes," he replied. "Prince Ral is still missing. He's hiding somewhere." Linyara nodded slowly. "A broken heart hides in shadows. He may return, but not today." She took a deep breath. "Today, we prepare for something greater." A few hours later, leaders from over 50 human and alien worlds arrived on Silvers. The Great Council of Stars had gathered for the first time in history. Long crystal tables were set in the star dome. The air was clear, and sunlight passed through the glass walls. President Hale from Earth stood at one end. Beside her was a representative from Mars, another from the Undari colonies, and several Tlare nobles. Linyara entered first, followed by Jace. The chamber grew silent. Linyara began to speak, her voice soft but full of strength. "Our galaxy has suffered from silence and fear, from mistrust and division. But a bond was formed, one not of blood, but of belief." She reached for Jace's hand. "We did not come from the same world, but we saw each other. We heard each other. That is what peace needs." Jace stepped forward. "I was a soldier. I've seen destruction. But now, I believe more in bridges than in weapons. This bond changed me. It changed everything." President Hale stood. "Then, let us honor that change. Let us create the alliance of unity. One law, one voice, many worlds." All leaders agreed. The alliance was born. Later that night, a quiet celebration took place in the Moon Garden. Flowers bloomed under glowing trees. Music filled the air. Soft lights floated above like stars. Jace and Linyara walked slowly through the garden. "It's strange," Jace said. "I came here as an outsider. Now I'm a symbol of peace." Linyara smiled. "You were always more than what you believed." He looked at her. "And you, how did you stay so strong?" "Even blind, I see with my soul," she replied. "And I saw you clearly from the first moment." They stopped beside the ancient tree where they had once spoken after escaping the palace. Linyara placed her hand on the bark. "Do you regret bonding with me?" Jace stepped closer. "No, I gained more than a partner. I found purpose. I found you." She turned her head gently toward him. "Then walk with me into the future, as my equal, as my mate." He nodded. "Always." They stood together under the glowing leaves, two souls, one bond. The next morning brought unexpected news. A patrol ship near the edge of the Cerberus system had picked up a signal. A small ship, heavily damaged, drifted alone in deep space. The pilot was identified, Prince Ral. He had tried to escape to the Drakari border, but his ship had failed. Now, he was alive but weak. Jace and Linyara visited him in the medical hall. He lay on a bed, his once proud face pale and tired. He looked up as they entered. So, the bond didn't break. Linyara walked forward. No, it became stronger. Ral's voice was bitter. You stole what was mine. Jace spoke firmly. You had power, but you used it to divide, not to protect. Linyara stood still. You are not my enemy, Ral. But you are lost. Heal. Think. And if you choose peace, there may still be a place for you. Ral closed his eyes. He said nothing. Months passed. The alliance of unity grew stronger. Trade began between Earth and Tlure worlds. New schools were built where young ones learned both human science and Tlure mine arts. Linyara and Jace led together, not as queen and general, but as partners. They visited other worlds, listened to old leaders, and opened doors for the young. One day, Jace stood in the Chamber of Ancients. He was alone, waiting for Linyara. He looked at the glowing crystals above. I never imagined this, he whispered. Not in 1,000 lifetimes. Linyara entered quietly. That is because you were always looking toward war. Now, we look toward wonder. They stepped together under the bond arch. A voice from the chamber whispered around them. You have passed all trials. You have given the stars a new story. The light above them shimmered. Jace looked at Linyara. What now? She smiled. Now, we write the next chapter. As they left the chamber, a new ship prepared to launch from the palace docks. Its name was Unity One. It would carry both humans and Tlure into deep space to explore, to learn, and to protect peace across the galaxy. Linyara and Jace would lead the mission together. And from that day on, all who looked at the stars, remember the bond that changed everything. Not a weapon, not a crown, but a promise between two souls. One bond, one future.